Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger. And as y'all can see, man, by the looks of the title and the screen today, I got a very special build in store for y'all. Now, as you can see, by the looks of the title and the screen today, I am actually bringing y'all the first ever 100 badge 3-point playmaker build, but also we're going to be able to get contact dunks on this build, and it's going to be made out of the small forward position. Now, I gotta break it to y'all, this is the last small forward build that I will be bringing to y'all this year, unless we find more builds out of the small forward position. But I pretty much already broke the game and made all of the 100 plus badge builds. So man, with all that being said, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, and anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, go ahead and turn on post notifications, but do not forget to hit that like button. Now, after the small forwards, meaning after this video, I'm going to be moving on to the big men, the power forwards, the centers. So let me know what kind of builds y'all want to see out of them. And also, they're all going to be having over 100 badges as well. So that is something that y'all really need to consider when it comes down to it. But when it comes down to the position, we're going to go ahead and put this one under the small forward for the very last time. Now, I know I said I'm not going to be making any small forwards, but that only means is that if I have made a small forward with a certain build name, I'm not going to be putting it out again, because we already made it with over 100 badges, and on top of all that, we made it out of the small forward position. So if I find another build that is similar out of the power forward, center, whether it be point guard or even shooting guard, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it for y'all, but not if it is the same exact thing as the previous 100 badge small forward builds that I showed y'all. But now, when it comes to the height on this build, we're actually going to be going with 6'6". When it comes down to the weight, as you can see in the top right corner right here, we're going to go with 180, and then as for the wingspan, we are actually going with 7'1". Now, it is actually bittersweet that this is the last small forward that I'm bringing to y'all, because I really did enjoy the series so far of bringing all these 100 plus badge builds. So really, that has been something that has been super fun to me this year, breaking the game and making sure that I can find every single build in its best possible form. But now, enough of all that, let's go ahead and get into the stats. When it comes down to the close shot, we're going to go with a 77. Driving layup, this is going to be an 82, and the driving dunk is going to go up to an 85. Now, right there we get 22 badges, so not bad at all. Let's go ahead and get into the shooting now though. When it comes down to the mid-range shot, you have to go ahead and put this to an 81. And what's actually going to give us a 3-point playmaker build name is that 83 3-point shot. So go ahead and put that 3-pointer to an 83, max it out, leave it as is. Then with that free throw, we're going to go with an 85. And right here, as you can see, we're going to be able to get 25 badges out of the shooting. Now, when it comes down to the playmaking, we're going to go with the pass accuracy of 89. Ball handle, we're going to go up to an 85. And as for the speed with ball, we're going to go ahead and put this to an 83. So also, you will be able to get the pro dribble moves on this build, as well as the pro contact dunks. But now, right there for the playmaking, we're going to be able to get 29 badges, which is not bad at all. Let's just go ahead and get into the defense now though. Perimeter defense, going to be a 77. Steal, 84. Block, 70. Offensive rebound, a 57. And that defensive rebound is going to be maxed out at 83 for 21 defensive badges, y'all. Now, if you wanted to make any changes to this build at all, I would highly recommend, if you're going to, make sure you take away from the defensive stats rather than the playmaking, shooting, or the finishing. Now, I'm sure you could take some off of the finishing, but why do that when we already get the minimum of the pro contact dunks? Now, I know that y'all can see we get a good amount of badges when it comes down to the playmaking side of things. Of course, we get a lot of gold in this area, which is not going to be bad at all. Then, when it comes down to the shooting, we actually get some pretty good shooting stats when it comes down to this build, but also the badges on top of all that are what's going to make this build really solid. Now, I know y'all see we still have room for the physicals, 4 more overalls to go, so y'all most definitely know that I am going to boost the stats when it comes down to the physicals. I'm not going to go ahead and leave y'all hanging on that. I most definitely have to say that every single build that I'm bringing y'all is definitely going to have some really good physicals, especially with those builds being 100 badges and more. I'm telling y'all, I always want to be sure to keep the physicals the main thing. So when it comes down to that speed, I'm going to go with an 88. When it comes down to the acceleration, I'm actually going to go ahead and drop this to an 85 rather than putting it at the max of 86. Now that vertical must be a 70 for the pro contact dunks, and then we're going to go ahead and be able to max out our stamina at 90. If you want to go ahead and get a higher stamina, you can definitely go ahead and drop down your free throw somewhere around a 70, and you're going to be able to get a 99 stamina if you wanted to go about it that way. But as you can see right here already, if you decide to go about it, and honestly, when you add up the 4 extra badges that you're going to be able to get from college or the rebirth, add all that into the badges that we get, you're going to be able to get over 100 badges on this build. So as you can see with the takeovers, we get the slashing, shot creating, then we get the sharpshooting as well as the playmaking, y'all. All of these, I have to say, are going to be some really nice badges to pick from when it comes down to the takeover. But for me, I would have to say the one that is going to make everybody more of a better shooter and unguardable when it comes down to the breaking ankles is going to be ankle breaking shots, the shot creating takeover. The second one, if you want to double up on the shooting or the offensive takeovers, I would highly recommend doing that. And what I mean by that is honestly picking double shooting takeovers, or you could go with 1 shooting and 1 slashing. You could even go with the playmaking one if you wanted to go about it that way. I really feel like the playmaking is slept on, so honestly the one that I would really consider taking is the one that's going to be with the stats, or you could even go with the badge boost. That's a really solid one to pick as well. But as y'all can see, man, we have made the first ever 3-point playmaker build, over 100 badges out of the small forward position with pro dribble moves, and also we're going to be able to break ankles and get contact dunks at ease, y'all. Now remember, we're getting a plus 10 to our ball handling as well as our shooting here in takeover. And also remember, with that plus 10 from the playmaking takeover and the shot creating, we're also going to be able to get a plus 8 from running with our teammates. They're going to have floor general as well as defensive leader, and then the plus 4 that you get from buying boost. So a plus 18 when it comes down to our shooting as well as the playmaking. So essentially we're going to have a 99 free throw, 3-pointer, and mid-range shot. But when it comes down to the playmaking side of things, with all things considered, if you have all these boosts added up, you're going to be able to also get a 99 pass accuracy, 99 ball handle, as well as a 99 speed with ball. That just goes to show how good of this build is going to be. But let's just go ahead and say you picked the slashing takeover. You're going to be able to get a 99 driving dunk and a 99 driving layup, and the close shot is going to be in the high 90s. I'm telling y'all, the only thing about this build is that you don't get a lockdown takeover, but honestly it is not needed, especially if you know how to play defense. This is really an offensive heavy build, and it has everything that you're going to be wanting out of it, especially once you get that takeover activated. Whichever one that y'all pick, really it's going to take this build over the top. But as you can see, we're going to go ahead and get into the badges now. I'm going to start with the finishing. So for me, I'm going to go with silver fearless finisher, gold limitless takeoff, silver posterizer, and then gold slithery finisher, as well as fast twitch. For the very last one, I'm going to go with unstrippable just to be safe, and that is the setup that I would be running when it comes down to the finishing. But now let's go ahead and get into the shooting. We got 25 badges that we're going to be able to work with here. So for my liking, I would have to say that I'm going to go with hot zone hunter, of course, as well as sniper. We got a good amount of badges left over, so also I'm going to add in deadeye on silver, silver blinders, then we got bronze clutch shooter. Then from here, the rest of the way, it really comes down to your preference. For me, I would say corner specialist is going to be a very solid badge to keep on. Then from there, also we got a couple of extra remaining badges, so if you want to, you could even go with volume shooter, green machine on bronze. And then for the very last one, this really comes down to your preference. You could go with stop and pop, set shooter. It really does not matter as long as you like the setup that you're going to be running with. But that's what we're going to be looking like when it comes down to the shooting. Let's go ahead and get into the playmaking now. As you can see, we get 29 badges. So I'm going to go with gold quick first step, handles for days as well. Then from here, we get 21 more badges that we're going to be able to work with. Honestly, like I say, this part of the video is really where it comes down to which badges that you personally like to run. So for example, if you see something that I'm putting on that you necessarily don't want to put on, you necessarily do not even need to put on the badges that I'm showing y'all. But for me, I'm going to be going with gold triple threat juke. From there, unpluckable on bronze, and we still get a good amount of badges left over, 16 remaining. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is add a couple more of important playmaking badges. That's going to be quick chain as well as hyperdrive. Both of these are going to be essential badges that you want to keep on. I know a lot of people say bullet passer is a very much needed badge. But let's just say you're running the 1v1 court, you necessarily are not going to need this badge on if you're running the ones. But if you are, however, I would go with gold, silver, or bronze. For me, I normally like to run bronze. Really helps out. But then also there is another bronze badge that I do like to run, and that is going to be bailout. Again, it just comes down to your preference, what game mode you are going to be playing. But from here with the last 7 badges, you could go ahead and spread the wealth here if you want to go about it that way. Or you can go ahead and put on Bullet Passer on the highest tier possible. Again, just know as long as you feel comfortable with the setup that you're going to be running with, that is always going to be best over what somebody else is saying. I'm also going to go ahead and add in stop and go on gold. And even right here, we still have the potential to add 3 bronze badges. And for me, I would go with Bullet Passer, Bailout, as well as Needle Threader. Or I would go with Bullet Passer. Then from there, I'm going to go with Silver Downhill. There's going to be so many different setups that you're going to be able to see. As you can see right there, I went with tie handles on Silver and then added in Bullet Passer. But again, it really just comes down to what kind of player you are, your playstyle, and everything taken into account. Now, when it comes down to the defense, I'm going to go with Silver Chase Down Artist, Bronze Rim Protector, Silver Clamps, Silver Intimidator, as well as Silver Rebound Chaser. Now, we have 8 more remaining badges, so all of these are going to be a key factor about this build. For me, I'm going to go with bronze or silver pickpocket, and then for the very last one, I'm going to go ahead and add in, it's going to be Hustler on Hall of Fame. Now, if you want to, you can definitely go ahead and change the setup, but this is what I'm going to be running with. 21 defensive badges right here, and then when we go ahead and get into the playmaking, we get 29. As for the shooting, we get 25, and then as for the finishing, we get 22. So, man, I just got to say thank God for giving me and also us this opportunity to be able to be a part of each other's day, but also just share this moment in time. I just need y'all to know that I appreciate y'all, I love y'all, and I thank y'all. The weekend is here, y'all, so y'all most definitely know that the bangers are in store. So, man, if you want to go ahead and stay tuned, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family, RGF, go ahead and turn on post notifications, but also hit that like button, y'all. Can we go ahead and get 50 likes on this banger? Be sure to share it with your family and friends. And, man, last but not least, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.